sorry we are late again, okay, but then we have a very, very good post actually by one of our panels, Eriton, okay, so let me just share this with you guys first, all right, as we are all caught up with this Ronaldo fiasco, as other United fans allow us to go sideways a bit, all right, tomorrow we do hope our Malaysians here fulfill their duty as Malaysians. Fulfill your duty as proud Malaysians and vote. Vote for whatever, whoever you may, as it's your prerogative as a citizen of our great nation. Kepada Raja dan Negara, masa depan kami di tangan kami semua. Malaysia, negaraku. Let's go. Yeah, Smurf, typical Smurf. 10:49 and still waiting because our main person watch timer is not here lah. That's why lah. That's the problem, all right. Salam sejahtera and welcome to JomUnited. We are a Malaysian Manchester United fan channel. Yes, dengan bangganya Buatan Malaysia. All right. So we are going to jump straight into it because we are late already. So the part 2 of the interview is already out today. So pretty much I'm sure everyone have seen the whole total, I think, 90 minutes of the interview, all right? So we'll just jump straight into it, all right? I'm going to start off with Josh first, all right? So having watched the whole saga, all right? So what's your take on Ronaldo's motive of doing this interview?
Basically, from the sounds of it, I think he already knows his time is up. He knows that he's not going to enjoy football in Manchester United, and looks like he's trying to fish a big contract after this. Looking at the situation, I don't think so any big Champions League club will want this sort of profile or character in their dressing room. That's for sure. I don't think so. Even clubs like Bayern Munich, for example, or if even Real Madrid or clubs like that, even PSG, I don't think so they want a profile like this. It's basically fishing for a bigger contract after this in January.
Okay, so Doc, so do you think he managed to achieve this? I think the latest breaking news is Manchester United is in a process of tearing up his contract and whatnot. So of course, I think before this you were mentioning that we need to wait until the whole interview is up before you make your conclusion. So what's your conclusion in a nutshell?
To be honest, I'm quite disappointed. I expected much more from the second part of the interview. I think a lot of United fans have already made up their mind based on the snippets. But if you actually watch the interview, I don't think there's anything much there. There was a lot of juice coming out, in the snippets right before last week, right? And then they made it look like, you'd probably be coming on part 2 because part 1 was quite docile as well. In the end, I think for me, I think everybody's got an agenda here, right? Ronaldo's one is probably, he's also knows, like Josh said, probably his time is up. He wants to move on. I wouldn't say he's looking for a big contract, but maybe just move out of United.
Okay, Pija, we need to talk about the timing of all of this. I think yesterday you also spoke about timing, all right? Let's just add on a bit. The timing for him to actually come out and say it, do you think it's a correct, a smart move on Cristiano Ronaldo's part?
If you ask me, yes, it's a very smart move in terms of after macam Josh kata he already knows that he's not enjoying the football. He knows what's going to happen. He knows how Man United going to react about this. That's why dia berani dia nak buat this interview. They suddenly release the video until the end of the mid-season now. Bukan maksudnya before the World Cup starts. Because after this, I think 18 hari bulan finish World Cup kan. Then dia ada macam 1 week break. Then Christmas tu baru start balik kan. So dia ada macam like 5 days punya gap until January transfer window. But itulah dia. I rasa memang dia tahulah sebab after ni he will not come back to Man United tu je lah. Regardless, kalau you tanya I pun tak payahlah datang balik. Duduk je lah mana-mana you nak pergi.
My point of view of this whole interview right? Because for me, I was actually struggling to watch the second part of the interview. I was actually pretty damn pissed off when I watched halfway of the interview right? But then what I actually can conclude is I see a frustrated and emotional Cristiano Ronaldo. Like what I was telling the guys before this, if he actually took 1 week to come down to speak to Jordan Peterson or the psychologist or whatnot, right, get some advice from him, probably he would have told him to back off for 1 week or maybe a few days before jumping the gun into this interview. Do you see it this way, Josh? Because a lot of his statements that he did in the interview, right, is rather contradictory, So what's your take on that?
It's very emotional, I would say it's very emotional rant, I think there will be a point in Ronaldo's life, he will going to regret this for sure. He will definitely regret this. There's a Malay saying jangan ketuk tangan yang suap nasi, right? The whole when he was banging all the ex-players, right? Those were the players who were actually backing him up when he was going to be the best in the world. People like Gary Neville or Roy Keane or Rio and all those people. These are the people that actually backing up when he was a kid. They were throwing tackles at him and all, and these are the people that back him up. And on top of that, Wayne Rooney also. Yeah, I mean, of course, you don't want to back down on a criticism to yourself, but you can do it in a much better platform, much better way. This guy is the best in the world. No argue about that. He and Messi is the best we ever seen in the last 10, 15 years. But this wasn't the way to end his career at a very top level. But it was really an emotional run. This literally took him up, for me personally, a legendary status at Old Trafford. If there was a thought of a statue coming up there, that this was the moment where they will cancel everything off, because he was really up there. If he would just kept quiet and use his strength of being the world leader or global icon of football to talk about his youngsters, talk about, even though he doesn't perform in the pitch, right? He's very influential outside the pitch also. He could have done that. I'm leaving Manchester United because maybe I'm not up to par, because he's still in denial. But talk about the youngsters that's coming up and all of those. Even though if he had something on with Erik Ten Hag, don't do it when you are employed at Manchester United, for sure. Imagine all the youngsters and the youth squad, under 21, under 18, women's team, everyone is going to see this. And is this the example you want to set for every legends that leave Manchester United? I don't think so, right?
Correct. Okay. Since you brought up the Erik Ten Hag topic into the conversation, right? So, for me personally, right, if he would have went about talking about whatever he said, the Glazers, about what else he mentioned about his confidence in himself, performing at the top level and whatnot, complaining that he's not given the chance, I think he wouldn't have been that bad. But the moment he actually spoke about Erik Ten Hag, all right, Doc, his input about Erik Ten Hag not respecting him, right? So we got to really dive into this. What's your take on that?
You mentioned just now, Dom, he was very emotional in the interview. You need to ask yourself the question, where did his emotion come from? Why suddenly now, right? Or why suddenly this season? He wasn't emotional last season, right? Now, if you ask me, and this is my personal opinion, right? To say that he's being pushed out, I have a feeling he is, to be honest, right? And this comes from Ten Hag. I think Ten Hag just didn't want him from the beginning. But to play to the media, he says, yes, he's an important member of my team, right? And also he knows if he says that he doesn't need Ronaldo up front and, the season doesn't go his way, the fans will turn around and say, see, you got it, Ronaldo, that is why we're doing badly and things like that. So they will get on his back. Now, the best way is to challenge the key player and also to make him uncomfortable enough to do something like this and then engineer his own exit, right? And again, there may be agenda on both sides. And I feel that the key here is the communication. The communication between Ten Hag and Ronaldo is broken down. And that has led to this interview.
Sorry, Dom. I nak tanya. Tadi you cakap pasal Erik Ten Hag. Apa tadi cakap lupa lah. Tak apalah, aku dah lupa soalan yang nak tanya Dom tadi. It's okay, Dom. Sorry. sorry, Dom. I forgot.
He's too happy. He's just too happy. Esok nak undi kan, too happy already. But anyway, no, but then Doc, the thing that he mentioned specifically is about the time, the one that we talk about disrespect is the 3 minutes or what coming on for Man City, for Spurs. Okay, because the game before against Man City, right, we were being trashed 6-3 and whatnot. Erik Ten Hag didn't want to bring him on because he wanted to preserve his legacy and whatnot, all right? And then this particular Spurs game, he actually wanted to bring him on in the last, 3 to 5 minutes and whatnot. Basically, Donny van der Beek kind of situation. So he considered that a disrespect. So what's your take on that?
So again, let's take it in entirety. If you're looking at one particular game, the Spurs game, it is that happened without whatever conversation that went on post-match, the Man City, right? Then yes, the finger will be firmly pointed on Ronaldo. And again, I don't agree with him walking off, right? Or even not coming on to I don't agree and I don't condone it. but I can see his point of view, because in the previous game, when he was, going ready to go on and play, you kept him on the bench throughout. Now, if Ten Hag had not said anything, just left it there, it would be different. But he came out in the post-match interview and said, look, I didn't play him because I respect him enough and I don't want him to put him in a game where we're getting hammered by City. Right? Now, he has come out and said this in the press. And in the next game, a comfortable game. Spurs game, I think everybody agrees, was the best game of our season. We were hardly tested by Spurs. We were leading 2-0 with 3 minutes to go. Why would you bring on a forward? And why would you bring on Ronaldo? Right? I think somewhere in our group, Sunny side mentioned, we want to do a forward press, press up high. Then you won't bring in Ronaldo. You're bringing Elanga because everybody says Ronaldo can't press anyway. Now, what is the reason you had to bring him on? And taking the whole thing entirely where he spoke about not bringing him on out of respect, now you're distracting him by bringing on for the last couple of minutes. You're leading 2-0, comfortable game. You wouldn't want to bring on an attacker. You bring on a defender. What was the need to do that? And that is why I say there is also a part of this, right, where Ten Hag is to be blamed. I'm not saying it's wrong, right? But he also, I think, sort of engineered this in a way to get what he wants. And that is to make Ronaldo leave on his own.
But
I disagree on that statement. Totally disagree on the statement. Reason being this: why is there talk about respect in the first place? He's the manager. Is disregard. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was brought in every single time at the 90th minute. He became a legend. Regardless, you want to bring a striker, you want to bring 4 goalkeepers at one go, doesn't matter. He's the manager of Manchester United. Why do you question his decision to do so?
Yeah.
And on top of that, Erik Ten Hag is a person that will treat everyone as equals. You may earning 10,000 a week or 500,000 a week. If he wants to bring you at the 96th minute just to be there, what is it about respect? It's just part of the game. It's just football. What's wrong with that?
Josh, take it in entirety. The previous game, you didn't want to bring him on at all, right? Okay, what is there to bring him on? You could have brought him on with 10 minutes left. Why didn't you have to bring him on just before the end of the game, right? And also, again, you are talking about what a lot of people, Solskjaer coming on. Those are games we were trying to win, not trying to defend a 2-0 lead. And not, again, in the previous interviews, nobody said, I respect Solskjaer not enough not to bring him in, right? So again, take it together. And now we were having a discussion in the group as well just now, right? Somebody said, I don't understand why Ten Hag brought him in the last 3 minutes. I agree. Correct. Now, imagine if you are Ronaldo sitting on the bench, right? The previous game, your manager didn't bring you in, a big derby game against City at all, okay? And then after that said they didn't bring you in out of respect for you. And then now in this game, with 2 minutes left, leading comfortably, I asked you to go and play. So taken together, right? This is what was spewing. And again, I don't agree that he didn't come on, and I don't agree that he walked off. But I'm trying to look at it from his perspective. Now, you say Ten Hag manages everybody together. Yes, that may be his style. But remember, Josh, and I was talking about this, there are certain people who need to be managed differently. Everybody does it. Special treatment for different people. Fergie did it for Cantona, right? Special treatment, because that is man management. You can't expect everybody to be exactly the same.
Sorry, I got to interrupt you on this, and I'm so sorry I got to interrupt you. Special treatment given the circumstances whereby he fits into the puzzle of the team. So looking at how Ronaldo was actually performing, his lack of fitness and whatnot, and what do you think that we have to give him that special treatment to put him in the games that he wants to play? He feels that he's ready to play, not in the eyes of the manager, but in the eyes of the player.
No, I'm not asking you to put him in. Again, if you're not playing well, you sit on the bench. But the communication between the manager and the player needs to be there. If you need to do it specially because he's a player who's got a very experienced player, one of the best in the world, then you need to do it separately. But that communication needs to be there. Look, I cannot play you in this game, whatever not. But you're not up to form, you're not up to fitness. Explain it. And this is why, I think even Rio Ferdinand spoke, but probably the communication is not there. And now why is the communication not there? In my opinion, it's because Ten Hag also wants him out on his own. And that is why the communication is not there.
No, sorry, Doc. I think there's been a communication between Erik Ten Hag and also Ronaldo. It's just that maybe Ronaldo ego or Ronaldo, some said mentality just doesn't want to accept the fact that he's just a squad player rather than the main man. Who knows? Don't you think that? Don't you think
I
that
just
would be-
don't. I believe this has not been communicated at all. Right? Yes, I agree. He's got ego. No, definitely lah. That ego is probably what leads him to be one of the greatest players
Yep.
at the moment lah. Right? In fact, in the history of football, he's one of the greatest players, and they need this kind of ego, this drive to fuel that kind of drive to be the best. Right?
True.
It's there. It's definitely there. I'm not denying it at all. Right? And again, in this kind of players, and this is why we go back to this conversation that we had, I think before Ten Hag came. Can he manage big names? I'm not saying what he did is wrong, but could he have managed this better if he had experience in managing big names? People like Mourinho, people like Ancelotti may have managed this differently. Right? That's all I'm saying.
Comment by Rob. The United spin doctors always tell one side of the story that suits them. They always have. Was the same with Kino and Beckham. Right. Smurf mentioned it was wrong on Ronaldo part, no doubt. But I feel Erik Ten Hag most likely did to try to get Ronaldo pissed and react to which work. Erik Ten Hag smart, eh? And also Rob mentioned now the World Cup is all about Ronaldo, and if he's coming back to United, shame.
No. But to be honest, on Erik Ten Hag, he already gave Cristiano Ronaldo plenty of chances to impress him, though. But rather than example lah, in the Europa League against Ammonia, I think all the players are helping Ronaldo, giving plenty of chances to him to score the goal. Unfortunately, I don't know lah, maybe because of lack of game match fitness. They said shooting boots missing. So you can't really blame Erik Ten Hag in terms of not giving the chances, not giving the respect that Ronaldo demand from the manager himself. I can't understand that situation when the people are saying like Ronaldo deserve respect more, deserve special treatment. I think that should not be in the conversation at all, because all the players, like what Josh said, if you perform, you play. If you don't perform, sit on the bench and just do what the manager said lah.
No, you perform, you play. You perform, you play. But even with, I tell you, even Fergie did this. Even with people who, he had issues with, he called them in, he spoke to them differently.
Another thing. Yeah. If just say Ronaldo is he's so confident is not the word, so in control of his emotions and his thoughts, right? I mean, professional, elite mentality and whatnot, right? So shouldn't he, he can actually point out communication issues. Shouldn't he actually go speak to Ten Hag in person instead of coming out in public and doing this big bombshell?
Yeah, so I think a lot of this goes back also what's happening behind the scenes, right? And to be honest, even throughout, when he walked out of the pitch, even when he was fined 3 days, not allowed to come in for training and all of this, he never said anything. And that's why I always say we only heard one side of the story. Ten Hag, whatever said and done, was giving press conferences and being asked about the Ronaldo situation, right? Whether it was preseason, whether it was walking out of the preseason game, walking out of the Spurs game, he gave his opinions. But we only heard one side of the story. And that is why I always say we need to hear both sides before we judge. And going back to the interview today, or part 2 of the interview, I can see why he feels that Ten Hag doesn't respect him, right? I can see it. I can see why. I'm not saying who's wrong, who's right, but I can see from his perspective why he feels Ten Hag is not respecting him.
Yeah, true.
Rob mentioned, do you notice Ronaldo showed no remorse to his decision? He's a little deluded and tunnel vision with these things. He can never truly admit he was wrong. Very, very true. Okay, which brings me to the next question. Josh, he was actually punished for 3 days, right? 3 days not training with the first team and missing 1 game against Chelsea and whatnot. So do you think that this punishment, right, is in Malay we say setimpal dengan apa yang dia buat lah, alright? He deserved this type of punishment, or do you think that he deserved more than what he actually got?
I feel he deserved more than that. Whichever player walked out of a game, especially if you're a legend, or especially you're a best player, whichever player since back then walked out of a game when you're winning someone. This is ridiculous lah. We don't need this kind of profile. We don't need this kind of character. You can be the best in the world. You can be winning World Cup. You can be winning Champions League. But United is known of a winning mentality team. It's a team, not individual brilliance, but a team. Yes, we were in hard times before this over the last five to 6 seasons. We needed individual brilliance, and that's why a lot of characters and profile like Zlatan came in, Pogba came in, and all those in order for us to have some sort of talisman in the team. We needed that, all right? But historically, we never had like the most ultimate best player. We always had like the most average or above average players and win titles. We don't need that. We don't need a profile like this thinking that he is the best and better than the club, and then expect sympathy on a talk show like this and expect the fans to back him up. Where I think personally, whoever that supports Manchester United for the long time, even more than 10 years, would know that the club is bigger than the player at any time. So this Portuguese egg tart can just go fly kites, take his bag and go wherever he wants to go, because Ten Hag has a job to do, and I think we are en route, and it will be good riddance, lah, to be honest, with the youth that's coming up. And yeah, Ten Hag, there's always, even I question sometimes, can he manage a top profile? Actually, the answer is we don't know, but he can make use of youth players and win. That's the thing, and that's what we want. We don't need top players if that's the attitude that they're going to show.
And then the funny thing, I think like what Rob mentioned, right? He didn't really show any remorse and whatnot. So I think some part of the interview he was actually saying that he actually spoke to his son, Ronaldo Jr. and whatnot, right? And saying that how can the manager punish the best player in the team? How can the manager punish the best player in the team? So in a way, I feel maybe, I don't know, Doc, do you think that maybe his ego in a way is,
Denial.
in denial and whatnot? So again, I'm not talking about last season. Yes, I know last season, fantastic. But coming into this season, all right, we are not going to judge a player based on what they did last season. Based on the current games that he's playing before this, I don't think he's performing up to the best player in Manchester United and whatnot. So what's your take on that?
I think that was the question his son asked him, right? How could they find the best player? It's actually not him, right? It's what
But
his
he
son
layan
asked
also,
him.
right? The way he answered, he also layan also. Right. Right.
But I agree with all of y'all. Okay, he hasn't performed up to par this season, right? In fits and starts, yes, but generally he was not in the starting lineup, only inside because of Martial's injury and extended absence. But I think he also has not really performed up to this height. He looks off the pace, lah. Okay, and I would also think that missing preseason has something to do with it. Yes, he keeps himself fit, but you're not match fit. You're not sharp. You lack the match sharpness, right? And when he came in, I think in the initial part of the season, he's coming in off the bench, 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there. So again, he's still not getting that kind of match sharpness and match fitness. I don't think he's had a real prolonged run in the first team from the beginning, right? In starting 11. There were a few games he started, then he went back to the bench. So again, it's a compounding of issues, lah. Now, I think a lot of the problem already started in preseason. Okay, the reason why he missed preseason, according to him, was because his daughter was not well. And I would believe that, lah, right? Generally, nobody will say that their daughter is unwell as an excuse. Now, if that is truly the case, and whether, and while that was going on, there was a lot of speculation that, he was looking for clubs, he's trying to engineer his way out, and that came from the club. So maybe that is also disillusion him a little bit. And when, players are not happy, they don't perform, lah. I'm not making excuses, but again, it probably stemmed from there as well. That's where the relationship broke down. And finally, after I think some time, also only then they said, he's absent because of some leave, medical leave and things. But before that, nobody said anything. It was quiet. Everybody just let the speculation go on that he was trying to engineer a move out, and that already got a lot of fans upset. He wants to leave. He's trying to go to Champions League football and things like that. Now, if he is to be believed in his interview, he mentioned that he had concrete offers, but he turned it down. Again, this one I don't know who to believe, right? But it's hearsay. He says this, I say this. I don't know, because club says nobody gave any concrete offer. He says there is. I don't know who I can believe, right? But it probably stemmed from there, so from there it's just deteriorated, and with no communication, with them trying to slowly also force him out, it's just deteriorated into a situation where there's no way back, lah. Yeah.
Okay, Ravi mentioned, I have never seen any player walking out during my lifetime supporting Man United. I hope he's benched or subbed in World Cup. Okay, Daryl mentioned he walked out and has no regrets doing it. End of story. As much as he can pull the fans' heartstring, he made a mistake and never truly admit it. Dave mentioned, I strongly believe he's surrounding himself with all the evils that boost his ego to that level till he himself feel he's still the greatest among all. Oh, this is the comment of the day. As usual, he could have avoided all of this. It's a Frenchman's fault.
Okay. No. Sorry. Tadi I nampak ada comments from Daryl yang dia kata he woke up but has no regret. But you perasan that interview mana dia cakap, I apologize but I no regrets about walking out during the friendly early of the season and suddenly on the Spurs thing kan. Some people say that he post on Instagram but he never said sorry about what he has done. So macam like contradict tau. Dia apologize tapi dia tak menyesal. So what do you think that side of mentality macam like aku minta maaf tapi aku tak menyesal aku buat benda tu macam tu.
I think again that's why like in this interview, right, I think he went in head on without really having the questions beforehand and whatnot, because I don't think he's actually prepared. You can actually see, right, the way he answered questions, he's like hesitating, think a bit, and then he says something and then he got to pull back, think again and say again. So I think he's confused. Emotionally, I think he's a wreck. He's confused. He's frustrated. He's not getting the goals, not getting the game time and whatnot. So therefore, all these kind of issues come out. And then the funny thing that he mentioned, right, it was that, I said, I apologize. I actually typed out an Instagram post. You did not type that out. Probably your sister or whoever typed it. All right. No way you would have taken your time away from your training, your swimming, your sauna, whatever it is, to type that long ass message. All right. So I think in a way that is deceiving towards the fans and especially to the teammates and whatnot. So like Josh mentioned, what kind of example by doing that is he setting? Donny van de Beek, in that case, Donny van de Beek could have like walked up multiple times, probably in his underwear. Every time he walked up, he took one piece of his clothes. He could have done that also, right? But then again, professionalism, comparing to Donny van de Beek, that's the most obvious one, all right? You can actually see he's just sitting down there chewing his gum, maybe spit the gum on the chair or whatnot. That's about it. He don't actually come out, make a big hoo-ha about it. I apologize, I don't apologize and whatnot. So, but basically in a fan's point of view, right, I think we are already numb already, whether he apologizes or whatnot, right? I think all of us, we already come to conclusion in our hearts what we actually what we actually want from the club, what we actually want from Ronaldo and whatnot. So yeah, so that's my take on that. Okay. exactly like Danny mentioned. I'm sorry for making fun of Marcel, but I don't regret it. Okay. Lepas ni tak ada stick lah untuk you. Nine sticks only. Okay. Next question. All right, I want to go back to Josh on this lah. All right. He mentioned about he's been made the black sheep. Right? Do you think there's maybe a bit of paranoia going on, black sheep and whatnot? Because end of the day, right, my point of view, if just say you're playing at the highest level, regardless of whatever sports you're playing, whatever profession that you're doing, you're going to get haters, no doubt. Even United, we have haters. I have haters. I have one hater who call me to fly kite all the time. I don't know why, right? So, in this particular scenario, right, do you think it's a bit of paranoia and whatnot getting into? Like saying that he's always made the black sheep in the in the international stage and whatnot, in the club scene. Who is actually making him the black sheep?
If he's a black sheep, right, I think he's the most exclusive and a black sheep in Manchester United lah. That has a lot of. He's the Wagyu Marble 8, Marble 9 kind of the most exclusive black sheep that we have in Manchester United. Because think about it and see lah, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is there, as fit as he is, also he's not playing. All right, Van de Beek is there, he's not playing. So many players in the United squad can be called a black sheep, but why this person, the best in the world, need to be called himself a black sheep? Because why? He got a lot of followers, he got a lot of media presence and so forth. Imagine lah, if Pogba did these interviews, the whole social media will go wild for sure. All right. But the thing is, when he say he's a black sheep, because what? Is he playing well? If he's playing well and he's being treated like that, it's a very total different story. I think we will all here be having a different conversation altogether. But the treatment is not because he's black sheep, it's part of football. This is a modern day football. Cristiano Ronaldo is in denial of the modern day football. It's as simple as that. Because I don't think so he's been treated a black sheep. Ten Hag gave him his opportunity, he gave him the captaincy, gave him time to play, and what he did, he walked out the pitch, show remorse, and then come out to an interview where he actually volunteered to do with Piers Morgan, whereas Eric Ten Hag is obliged to do interviews every time when he do a pre and post match. Of course, the media will ask him, and he will be forced. Yes, I give my respect. Of course, he does. Ten Hag didn't go out there and talk about Ronaldo and why didn't play Ronaldo. He's obliged to do this conferences call, right? But Ronaldo did it in different way. So how is he? Why is he calling a black sheep? Maybe he has a different definition of black sheep. I don't know. But the black sheep that I know is definitely not what he is like. He must be something of a denied person.
Exactly. I think this comment is key.
Things he has nothing to do with him. Like what things? I really don't get it. Like what are the things that people are blaming him? I to be honest, I really don't get it.
You think other players don't get blamed, like Maguire? So Maguire is what, a white sheep?
Maguire different lah. Maguire
different. Maguire made so many mistakes on his own last season. Then that's where everybody blames him, right? He made mistakes.
Yeah, everyone got the blame. What I'm trying to say is that everyone gets the blame. As fans, we can dispute.
When I tell you he's getting blamed for everything, let me just go back to what a lot of fans say as well. Oh, he's not. Our whole game is out because he's not pressing. The moment he plays, Manchester United cannot play. What is that? No,
but it's true.
What is true?
It's true. Recently, for the past 10 games, we didn't play without Ronaldo and we've been winning games. Isn't that true?
Recently, this is not starting from recently. Black sheep has been from last season onwards.
Dude, the one that we are talking about, don't bring back last season.
Don't bring back.
This is over. Again, let's not. Why we focus on this now? This is the whole.
Under Eric Ten Hag,
he has been blamed for everything since he joined. He's been blamed for Ole sacking, wasn't he? He was blamed what? Oh, because of Ronaldo, Ole couldn't handle. He was sacked. That's part of the black sheep. It's why are we focusing now? You take the whole thing everywhere from last season until now. He's been the black sheep. That is what he's saying, which I agree. Because even now, this season, whether he plays or not, there are fans saying it's Ronaldo's fault. He doesn't play, it's his fault. He plays, I didn't perform. It's always the case.
Okay, before there's a very good comment here, but before we jump into that, right? Okay, I'm just gonna start this. Okay, you spoke about his offers, all right? Basically, right? I think CT actually came up saying that actually they didn't really want to pursue him and whatnot, and then Piers Morgan actually used as this club offering him 350 million, a Saudi Arabia club offering him that much money to actually join. Because, you're the greatest player in the world. Oh, there's this big club, 350 million. Oh, you decided not to go there and whatnot because you want to play for Manchester United. So, Pijal, what's your take on that? An offer of 350 million. Basically he don't really need that money lah. But anyway, what's your take?
Wait, siapa kata? Dia pun kata kan tempting kan. But dia kata some sort of tempting, but he doesn't want it because of dia still ada desire nak compete internal. But then itulah but have you read ataupun hear the words yang dia kata? They say I got no club but suddenly I have a lot of offers from other club. Macam like which one is it? Ada club ke tak ada club yang you nakkan you in the summer kan? Because of you got to admit there's no clubs willing to pay 500k for a 37 years old player tau. You gotta admit that. Only Man United are crazy enough to do those kind of business tau. So nak tak nak memang I don't know lah. I think that's just Ronaldo being Ronaldo in terms of saying something that people still want him. Unfortunately, in reality, there's no club really wants him. I don't know lah. That's just memang kata at the end of the day, you cannot be the main man. Like, if you want to compete in the highest level, probably can go to other places. Maybe MLS can be the next step for him lah. Bringing all the fans to MLS after this. I don't know lah. I don't know.
Yeah, just to add that on that, you're being the best in the world. You expect criticism to come in and out, left, right, and center. Whenever you miss a ball, you don't score, miss your chances, you expect this to happen. But Cristiano Ronaldo retaliated. He could have done it so much more differently. Not play victim. He shouldn't be playing victim. You think people like Messi don't get victimized like this? He doesn't call himself a black sheep. You think other sports, LeBron James, Usain Bolt went down on a career. All these players sure got their downtime one. But don't go to the media and say, hey, everyone blames me because I'm a black sheep. Come on, you're at the highest level of football. And of course, is this a really elite mentality? That's the question I have.
Okay, Doc, he mentioned in this interview, I think multiple times, I think at least 3 to 4 times, talking about the fans. Okay, I don't know whether he's addressing the Cristiano Ronaldo fans of them or the Manchester United fans, but basically, say he loved the fans so much, he loved the fans so much. Okay, so having going through the interview and having seen what he actually done so far, right? Do you think this is the best he can do? Assuming that he's going to leave the club, this is the best he can do for the Manchester United fans.
Oh, that's an interesting question. Because to be honest, right, if you ask me, I think post this interview, everybody gets what they want. Okay, first of all, Ronaldo probably gets to move out, okay, force his way out. Eric Ten Hag gets Ronaldo out, okay. In terms of the fans, maybe because of his interview regarding the infrastructure and things like that, they may and also the role the owners play. This is another strong point in their fight against the Glazers. So there's something good then as well. But when it comes to fans, there will be a lot of fans who will be very disappointed in the way that this has ended the love affair between Cristiano Ronaldo and Manchester United, right? It'll be split in the sense that nobody defends this action. Okay, nobody defends him walking out. None of the fans defend his tantrums on and then walking out. Nobody even defends his interview. Even I don't. Right, the timing of his interview was so perfectly done. Before the World Cup, there's a big gap before next United game. Ten Hag has no press conferences to reply. It's well planned, lah. Okay, it's well planned. And I also think he's also trying to get his way out. But in essence, when he speaks, there is some truth to what is going on behind the scenes. I agree, right? But for me personally, if you ask me as a fan, I am disappointed that he's leaving in such a fashion. I don't condone it, but to me, even as a fan, people say that no player is bigger than the club, which is true. But you must also remember that he gave us a lot of joy as a player of this club so many years, right? And whatever said and done, even though he leaves on a sour note, for me, he will still be a legend in my eyes. I mean, he brought so much of joy for me growing up, right? So again, if you split between fans, some will say, no, get good riddance, get lost from this club and things like that. But you, as a fan, you must also remember what service he did for the club that you love.
Okay.
Hey, Dom, I know you're gonna love this question, Dom. I'm gonna ask you. At the end of the interview tu kan kita dengar kan Ronaldo say, besides United, I want Arsenal to win the league. What do you think about that?
I think that is
as we know that you really hate Arsenal because of multiple reasons, kan? Then you heard your own goat saying that I prefer Arsenal to win the league.
Exactly. That's one of the reason I was super pissed. I know that usually we banter the other teams and whatnot, but I really take to heart. I really hate Arsenal even more than Liverpool. And then having him said that, I mean, come on, brother, we haven't even finished the league. I mean, assuming that now he's being sacked and whatnot, right? But there's still a chance that he might actually come back to actually play. And saying that, you know that Arsenal is going to win the league. If I were him, right, I would probably back Manchester United. How many fans, I'm very sure, apart from me, there are so many other fans who actually hate Arsenal in that way. And we are actually quite frustrated seeing how well they're actually performing under the new manager and whatnot. So this is pretty much like rubbing salt on the fans' wound, at this very moment. So I don't know. I'm really super pissed off with that statement. And also, the person that he actually went to do the interview with, Piers Morgan, is a bloody rat, a big fat snake, all right? And this guy is a well-known Arsenal fan. So I don't know whether he's saying this just to, to go so, how to say, not jilat kaki lah, but in a way, polish his shoes and whatnot, right? So I don't know. No, just to continue from there, right? I'm super pissed. I think many of the guys here actually mentioned this, right? Let me just read this out, right? It's a one-sided interview. Dumbass Piers Morgan didn't even challenge him in certain things. I think, right, end of the day, right, the winner of all this, the guy who actually, get the most out of this interview is actually Piers Morgan. Right, this guy, right? I'm not promoting his page and whatnot. He's actually tweeting a lot, right, provoking the fans, okay, at the expense of Manchester United fans. talking about, Ronaldo, he's having all these kind of records and whatnot. Why don't you play him? Why don't you start him? Dude, even Alex Ferguson, right, is not saying anything right now. All right, before this, Alex Ferguson actually came out saying that, you need to play your best play. But right now, why is he keeping quiet? It's bloody obvious that he actually see that Ronaldo is not performing at his very, very best. Okay, and then this guy who supposedly is a top journalist interviewer or whatnot, the host and I think I'm doing a better job than him. And I also got 6 packs, okay? I got 6 packs to prove it, you damn idiot. All right? So anyway, right? Anyway, I'm just so damn pissed off, right? So, okay.
I think you're not going to do any interviews in the next few days. You're quite
No,
emotional as well.
No. Let me ask you last question, right? Imagine January he's go to Arsenal, the Arsenal win the league with Ronaldo. What do you think about the status of the GOAT? Do you still think he's a legend?
I don't think so. I don't think so. He would do that.
Worst case scenario, what suddenly Piers Morgan said, I want to contribute some money to pay Ronaldo salary ke whatsoever. You never know. Piers Morgan is...
Then maybe some UFO adopt Ronaldo and move him to Mars or whatnot. Like, you also can put that kind of scenario, you know. So no, man, it's never going to happen. It's not going to happen. Right?
Can I just respond to that? Actually, when he was faced with that question, right, he said that if United don't win the league, right, he wants United to win the league first. Now, that is the key thing, but everybody only remembers the Arsenal point. Among us fans as well, how many of us actually think we're going to win the league? Most of us fans don't even think we're going to win the league. He actually came out and said it. I hope United win the league. And then, if it's not United, Arsenal. If you ask me, right, okay, and I guess we are different generation lah. So I grew up hating Liverpool and Man City, right? So for me, I wouldn't have said Liverpool or Man City. I would probably said Arsenal or Spurs. Okay, Coach Dom probably came out in the time where Arsenal and United were clear rivals. So he's got a lot of Arsenal fans around it. So he would have probably said some other answer. I mean, it's fair lah, whatever. But he still said he wants United to win first.
But
I wouldn't mention any of the rivals.
At least go with Newcastle or something. At least
betul.
Anyhow,
throw a few names out, but I don't know. I'm
Newcastle okay,
disappointed in the sense disappointed in the sense whereby he
Future
actually
United manager.
Okay, so I think we are pretty much at the end of our show, all right. So maybe we'll just do a quick round robin, all right. In conclusion, moving forward, all right. I'm going to start with Pija first. So what's your hope, from this whole drama and saga? What do you see? Any positivity coming out of this?
There's no positivity anymore, dog. I think that's it for Ronaldo. I just wait. Tomorrow morning, I'm wake up. Then there's the news. Club statement. Cristiano Ronaldo, blah, has been sacked. We terminated the contract tu je. I think I've been saying this since last season, right? He has been this kind of distraction that we don't need. Even at the start of the season also, I said Ronaldo should have gone in the summer because we don't need this kind of distraction. That's why I said when he comes, he attract attention on and off the pitch, which is we cannot blame him, but that's why he is the GOAT. Yeah, people focus more on him. And Erik Ten Hag, if you want to do a good job, he rather get rid of Ronaldo as soon as possible. So after this, no more. By January, let's just focus without Ronaldo lah. Man United without Ronaldo. That's it tu je.
Okay, a quick one. Daryl mentioned whether United win the league or not, no one is going to say Arsenal should win, especially a supposed legend of the club. You think Roy Keane will say that? Danny, why are you changing subject? Show us the six-pack. Check the description below for my OnlyFans page. Money out of this, man. 350 million, man. Okay, Josh. So what's your take in conclusion of this thing, and do you see any positivity from this?
Yeah, I think it's a real good positive in a way that we don't have such character toxic in the club. I think it's only going to showcase more drive actually for Manchester United. I really do hope that Portugal do well with him, because we do have our fellow United team members that is playing for Portugal, and I really hope they go far, do well. And moving forward, the second half of the season, I will foresee that a lot of young players, a lot of drive, a lot of hunger to showcase that, okay, Ronaldo is no longer in the squad. We can be the next big thing. All right. Let's do our best, and Ten Hag can manage them, because I think there's only going to be more fire and drive to prove Ronaldo wrong that without him that we cannot play football. I don't think so. That's true. I think we can do well. I think we can do much better. And I do want to see more opportunities of Garnacho being the next big star because of this. And we will remember this for sure.
Okay, Doc, how about you, Doc?
Like I mentioned earlier, Dom, I think everybody gets something out of this. Ronaldo gets to move on. Okay, Ten Hag gets the main monkey off his back. Okay, and what he wanted to do in the beginning.
Go to monkey lah.
Huh?
Go to monkey lah now.
Go to elephant to monkey. Don't forget elephant. In between it's called elephant. And I think the fans, hopefully there will be some action based on this interview on the state of the facilities and things like that. Hopefully we'll see something. But don't be surprised if Ronaldo goes to another European club and scores goals. Okay, because he's that kind of player.
I think for myself, if I may just share a bit lah. So I think this will be a lesson for us moving forward lah. Moving forward, the players that is coming into Manchester United, no more big names, all right? No more people with a big portfolio or whatnot, all right? And then romance and whatnot, yes, returning legends and whatnot, enough already. We have enough of that. So Wayne Rooney, if you're thinking of becoming the next manager, forget about it. We don't want any more of these expectations, any more of this kind of drama already, all right? So at the moment now, the guy who's going to bring us forward is not Ronaldo, it's not Martial, it's not Bruno Fernandes, it's the manager, Eric Ten Hag. The Glazers is not going to do shit for us, it's Eric Ten Hag. So whatever it is, we support the manager. Even the parting words from Alex Ferguson 10 odd years back, support your manager. That is our job now. So we should support Eric Ten Hag. So whatever decision that he made, we go with it. And end of the day, we are not Cristiano Ronaldo fans. We are Manchester United fans. So regardless of wherever he goes, after this, he scores multiple goals, billion of goals or whatever, Ballon d'Or or whatever, I think Marcel will have a higher chance of getting Ballon d'Or, right? So whatever he scores, whatever achievements he achieves, good for him. But I believe right now, what we want Manchester United to move forward, all right? So whatever memories that we have of him as a legend and what, yes, we keep it to our heart, but that is not going to bring us forward. Okay, I have enough of all those rivals making fun of us, because end of the day, they are the happy ones, not us. We are feeling disappointed, dejected, whatnot. We are arguing among us Manchester United fans, all right? So I want this to be the end of it all, and then we start fresh anew, right? And with that, thank you so much for joining us, all right? Like usual, please like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next episode when they
So with the goat gone, now they start afresh with DDG lah.
Yes.
Habis.